that class of 2020, the class that Jay came in, we only took one linebacker.
We just felt like this was the right place for me, the support we had here. Got here, had to wait my turn, and that was hard.
We're seeing everything that Jay Higgins has invested into himself and into this program.
It's cool to see him at every game. It reminds me of what I'm playing for.
Hawk, Hawk, Hawk.
Yeah, we were on the way to a different school, 30 minutes away from that school. I was basically going there to commit, and Coach Wallace called me and offered me. I think my dad could see like my face from the rear view. He knew it was good news. I told him Iowa offered me, and we kind of went from there.
I took over recruiting Indianapolis in 2016. Going into Jay's sophomore year in high school, he was a name that popped up as a young kid. You know, he still has some development to do. I remember when he came to camp, one of the comments that Coach Wallace made was that he kept getting better. In that class of 2020, the class that Jay came in, we only took one linebacker.
You know, I think Jay would be the first to tell you, and I would do the same, that Jay was probably not, you know, at the very top of our board initially, but, you know, ultimately it took a trip out to Indianapolis where I went to his high school and got a chance to see him move around, and, you know, everything became pretty clear at that point that Jay was meant for Iowa, and the chip that he had on his shoulder was certainly something that, you know, I think was gained in recruiting.
I think I committed the Sunday of the official visit, or really soon after I got up here. We just felt like this was the right place for me, the support we had here. And my parents ultimately trusted Coach Wallace and Coach Bell with me being here for the next 4 to 5 years. I feel like that was like the biggest part of that. Being in Indy, AAU basketball, like that was everything. Start with my mom, like she's very loud, talkative, vocal, talking to refs, talking to me, you know, always supportive. And when it came to football, she was the same way. I remember in high school, I could always hear her from the crowd. She likes to simplify the game and just tell me to go get the ball. My dad, he was the guy who wore a suit to the Sunday basketball game. So you start that tournament Friday, Saturday, and he'd show up Sunday in the full suit because he just got done preaching. He's always been this guy who loves people, loves entertaining people, loves talking to people. So he's always like been this big social media post guy. Obviously the University of Iowa's platform, it kind of just amplified what he was already doing, but he's always been extremely supportive. He's always been in my corner. He's the same person. He's been doing this my whole life. Now he's just got 70,000 plus people who, you know, like the content that he's posting.
Listen, today is college game day. Let's go Hawks. Hawk, Hawk, Hawk.
I wanted something that was original. My dream was to have 70,000+ yelling, chanting, Hawk, Hawk, Hawk. Just a fanfare, a little jazz, a little spice, a little energy. Hawk, like that, Hawk, 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 how you doing?
It was definitely a lot like when I wasn't playing. Like this dude's always vocal on social media and he's happy to be a Hawk fan. So I was just happy that I could actually like, you know, produce out there and give them something to be proud of.
Right here, right here. Hold them defense. Get in there, Higgs. Yeah!
Iowa City's like different. Like when you come to Iowa City, like everybody's talking about the Hawkeyes. And so when you go in the shields and they're asking for a picture of your dad and not you, you kind of understand how big of a deal this might really be.
Hit him, Higgs. Oh my God. Ooh, Lord, have mercy. That Jackson and Higgins combo. McDonald's ain't even got that.
You know, he's in a community, in an environment that bleeds black and gold. He acts like he went here himself and played here himself, so he kind of fits right in.
Bro. Oh, I'm cool. Oh, she's getting tall, ain't she? I know, she's got me on the field. Appreciate y'all.
We had to cut your trees down in your yard.
Time
Back
out.
this out.
I'm hitting the gas.
Yeah, it's cool to see him at every game. It reminds me of what I'm playing for. I feel like we get to this level and, you know, the pressure's added and you got fans, you got social media. You obviously understand how big these games we play in, but it just reminds me of when I first started playing a game and people that picked me up from school and used to take me to practice. They used to pay for my cleats and all that stuff. Obviously growing up, there were sacrifices that they had to make to to put my dreams first, and you know, there's still sacrifices to this day. They still take off work to come to games, still have to get hotels and travel and all that stuff. With my dad and my mom coming all the way to UCLA, I feel like it's up to me to make it worthwhile.
Walking through senior night against Illinois, what were some of those emotions like, potentially not knowing if you were back or not?
When we got on the bus, when we left the hotel, just thinking about like where I came from, like how everything started, like the first time you pick up a football to where you're at now, and even looking smaller, I started just thinking about my freshman year at Iowa. Got here in 2020, didn't know much, thought I was this good linebacker from Indianapolis. Had no idea what college football looks like, what commitment, what time, what it takes to be a good player at this level. Obviously got here, had to wait my turn, and that was hard. So just thinking about all those times where I questioned if football was in my future and if I would make it this far. And getting to last year, just thinking about the things that I accomplished, it was surreal, and I was an emotional wreck. And then the first thing I see when I get off the bus is my mom and dad. So it was over after that. Try to make it as normal as possible, because you still got a game. And try to make it as normal as possible. The seniors line up, and you know, you see guys who run in out of the tunnel.
The man in the middle from Indianapolis, Indiana.
You know, it was surreal just giving my parents a hug. My dad said it was really loud in the middle of Kinnick, and you kind of like take it for granted, because that's only, like, I don't know what Kinnick sounds like as a fan, but when you're in the middle of the stadium, everyone's going crazy. It's a different experience.
We had some guys in front of him that, you know, were veteran guys and guys that have been a part of the program for a couple of years. And Jay, as a player and a member of this program, has done everything right from the second that he got here, to include waiting his time.
You know, those challenges of having to sit behind, whether it's an All-American or just a senior who knows more, those challenges can get hard. The voices from back home can get louder. Those things never deterred him. I mean, he came here, he stuck to the script, he stuck to his plan. He had a goal in mind, and although he was behind some really good players, he was working while he was waiting. That's what a lot of young people struggle with.
I think what we're seeing right now is we're seeing everything that Jay Higgins has invested into himself and into this program.
I don't know, I came out of Indy with one Big Ten offer. So nobody in the Big Ten wanted me. And I got here, had a solid year last year. I was competing for being one of the best Big Ten linebackers. And so I just, if I'm honest with myself, I feel like I owe a lot of credit to Coach Wallace. I mean, just what he's been able to do with his track record, the guys that he's coached. And if you just look at what he's been able to accomplish, and you get in this program and you listen to him, you'll be able to find success. And you know, attitude, effort, obviously that's up to me, but I just think he does so much for this program, so much for this team, obviously so much for the linebacker room. I have this like goal every morning, like if I can be his truck here in the morning. I never do. It don't matter what time the first meeting is, like he's always the first truck that I see. And then when I leave, he's always the last truck that I see. I don't know if he knows I'm competing with him, but I try to get here before him in the morning and leave after him. But he always beats me.
I think it probably says that both of us have a screw loose, if that's how we're wired. But to get himself to this point and the player that he is, you know, it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of investment on his end and a lot of sacrifice. And for him to be here early in the morning and late in the evening, I think it's certainly paid off for him. But, you know, that just, to me, is really what he's done as a player.
I appreciate it as a player when Coach Wallace works just as hard as me, or as Coach Parker, Coach Ferentz, they work just as hard as me. The only way a good program works if the players and the coaches get along well. And I just think we have a culture where, you know, we believe in our coaching staff, we believe in the scheme, because we know they have our best interests in mind.
The coaching staff, support staff, our strength staff, I think we're all on the same level when it comes to what we're trying to provide to our players. But equally as important as our players are, they're investing themselves into what this program is and the culture of this program, what the standards are.
When we go out and we are trying to identify young people that'll fit in this program, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going to fit and what's not going to fit. All the things that made up Jay Higgins, the productivity on Friday nights, the excellent grades, the character, and all the right decisions off the field, that's kind of that perfect triangle, that trifecta that you're looking for. He fit all of them. You know, it just so happened to be at a small high school on the north side of Indianapolis that's 6 hours away from here.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're a freshman, like you're invincible, you got all the time in the world, you're a college athlete, like you think you're the coolest thing ever. And I mean, you look up at the seniors and you're like, wait, can't wait for these old dudes to get out of here. And you wake up one day and your body's hurting and you remind yourself that you're that old dude. And from my time as a freshman linebacker to where I'm at now, there's so many dudes that come and gone. And so I'm really just starting to appreciate the things like that. I think that's all the things the seniors do is appreciate the little moments, like the time in the locker room. Usually when guys come back, they tell us that this is the best time of our lives. So, I mean, when you're out there working hard, it may not feel like it, but just try to remember that it is.
Iowa over everything. Hawk, Hawk, Hawk. Go Hawks. And don't forget, 34, that son of mine is certified.